true story. Feel me? Matter of fact, still feel me. Yeah. Hey yo, past few years, shit got so ill, was kinda hard for the God to laugh through tears. I went through something with mama, no drama. Something that came and went, real life karma. My pop think his son is deserting him, it's hurting him. Guess I gotta be the man and sit down and work with him. My little boy 7, he the sequel to the thug. So I told him the money will never equal to the love. Listen, I'm grown, y'all. When it comes to my family, it ain't never a problem. It's only a phone call. They tend to take that and run with it. So every other month, I be on some new phone, new number shit. They violated, stay again. Gus told him the Beamer and broke K-leg again. Shh, let us pray again. Now I ain't get enough for hanging in the local bars yet. Had to let the thing off cross town in the projects. All these rumors and shit, but I ain't get robbed yet. Bitch ass niggas ain't stop acting like broad jet. An arm reach up a gun in the mask. Somebody clip me for 100 in cash. Still feel me. I hit the road and try to get more grip. It was cool until a motherfucking tour bus flip. No charges brought up. Bitch popped up with a kid. Got caught up. Then I put a cord up. Down the road to the riches is taking me longer. It ain't killed me yet, so it's making me stronger. I don't know if it's the hate, frustration, or hunger that keep a nigga.
Good afternoon, everybody. We are back to Big Men of Campus, and we are live Thursday, January 12th, 2017. My name is Jeff. They call me the Big Men of Campus here, live. Ryan, how you doing today?
What's up, man? Yeah, doing well. Good to be back.
Off your loss, which, you know, it is what it is. It's going to happen sooner or later.
Yep.
9-3 with your play of the day. Doing a great job.
Thank you.
Still very much up if you're keeping track at home. So basically, if you follow along at home, you're up about $600 if you bet $100. So all for free. Great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was going to happen sooner or later.
It was.
Listen, if you're winning every game, you probably live somewhere in the Pacific Ocean somewhere.
Yeah.
We'll see what we're doing tonight, Ryan. I went 2-0 last night.
Good job.
Creighton first half got the job done.
Right.
And Iowa State got the job done, plus the points.
Well, right.
Great. So, yeah, always nice to get those through, and great. So 36-31 for me on the year with my free picks in college basketball. We will delve into the card tonight as well as discuss the NFL playoffs round. We'll go over all 4 games. You and I have some fun with NFL. We don't really go crazy with it.
Sure.
So we'll break that down as well. See what we can find. We'll give a play for each game. So again, no need to ask us to break a game. Then we'll try to get to most of them here. There's a lot of games though in the card.
There's a lot tonight, man.
We'll probably avoid a lot
I don't
of
know if we're gonna go.
Yeah, we'll probably avoid a lot of the big, like Big Sky games like that. I will actually talk about a Big Sky game, though. I have a game that I'm looking at here. So let's jump into it here. How's everything today going with you?
Good. Everything's fine. Yeah, everything good. Ready
Got your
to
new Eagles shirt on? Nice.
Yeah. This is
very good.
New shirt here. But no, I'm good. I'm ready to kind of get things rolling and start another streak. That's the goal. Keep it going and. Like you said, we're both having a good start to the college basketball year. Hopefully, it continues. Some interesting news in the NFL today that we'll get into later. I have a few questions that we'll go over. So the Chargers are involved in one of the questions. I'm interested to see your input on this question. It's something I've thought about before. So I'm interested to see if you and the listeners have thought about it. But like I said, we'll get into that later, and let's get it going with the college basketball.
Very good, Ryan. Nice intro there to the show. Let's jump into it here. I got a couple plays. Ryan, you'll go with your play of the day as well. And I think we agree on the play. I was actually considering, this is involved in one of my plays actually. First game I'm going to take a look at, Ryan. I'm going to go with. I don't really understand this line. I'm going to go with this one as a free play. Just because I'm kind of, I don't really understand it too much. Illinois-Chicago, Ryan, plus 3.5 against Cleveland State, over-unders 139. I'm going to go with the underdog here. And kind of wondering why Illinois-Chicago is an underdog in this game. We've talked about it before. I think you've backed them as one of your plays of the days.
Yep. Against Detroit, yeah.
Yeah, Cleveland State, 5-11 this year. I mean, 4-10 against the spread. They've really kind of had issues all year. Illinois Chicago playing well without Dikembe Dixon. I thought when he went out, they would kind of falter a little bit and become kind of a Cleveland State type of team, and they haven't. I mean, they're 500. They're trying to kind of keep their head above water here, and they've covered numbers. I mean, they're 8-4 against the spread, covered 2 of 3 on the road this year, and you look at some of the particulars here offensively, particularly with Cleveland State. Cleveland State struggling to score 41% from the field, 30% from 3. They've had issues rebounding the ball, Ryan. In Illinois Chicago, a big rebounding edge here. And you look at the fact that Illinois Chicago like to run up and down, almost 80 points a game, shooting it at 47%. One thing I found out, Ryan, Cleveland State, 0-6 in their last 6 against the spread against teams that score 77 or more points. They're also 3-16 over the last 19 against good offenses. So what that tells me is they don't like to run. They want to play in the half court, and that's just not what Illinois Chicago really wants to do. I'm not interested in Cleveland State. I haven't been interested in them for some time. I'm a guy that definitely likes to fade this team, and I've had good luck doing it. Illinois Chicago's covered 3 of 4 against the Vikings, and I think they make it 4 or 5 tonight. I'm going to grab the points here in a game that I got to wonder why they're favored here. It reminds me a lot of the IUPUI Omaha game last night, which I'm kind of kicking myself for not taking. Omaha won the game outright, and look, I wouldn't be surprised to see them win here, plus 160. But for the sake of the show, I'll grab 3.5 here.
Yeah, I think they went out right and definitely kind of grabbed the points, obviously, for the sake of the show. But yeah, I don't think there's really a reason they should lose this game. They should definitely win out right. Definitely a game that came across my radar today when I was looking at the card. And I made mention to you that tonight we're kind of on different wavelengths here with the card. I'm not particularly in love with it. You think there's some pretty good spots, but this is definitely one game that did kind of jump out at me. Cleveland State, I mean, they're just not. They haven't been profitable. I mean, cut and dry. I mean, and not only this year, but they haven't been profitable as a favorite. They're 9-17 over the last 3 years. At home, they're not profitable. They're only 11-16 over the last 3 years. And a team in Illinois Chicago that has been clicking on all cylinders ATS-wise this year. They've been getting the job done as of late. The way they can score, the way they're going to out-rebound tonight, kind of everything. When you're checking off those boxes, kind of everything points in the direction of Illinois Chicago. It is definitely a strange line. Maybe they're just looking at the fact that Illinois Chicago hasn't done well on the road this year. They are only 2-4, but the fact that they are catching points, if they were a favorite here, maybe a different story. But the fact that they're 2-4 straight up on the road, maybe that is.
I've covered 2 of 3 though.
Right,
so.
right. But I'm just trying.
We don't need them necessarily win, Ryan.
And that's the thing. They don't need to win. So grabbing points definitely would back Illinois Chicago here.
Yeah, I think we're kind of on the same wavelength here. I know tonight you mentioned you're not a big fan of the card, and I kind of get where you're coming from. I mean, some of these conferences, some people don't like the Big Sky or some of the conferences they're going tonight. So I get that, but I think you got to kind of look for value. And Illinois Chicago, I found them in several bets this year. And I've always been a Cleveland State fader. Yeah. So
what line did you use?
3.5.
Because it's 4 now, so
okay,
we're going to use 4.
All right, so we'll take 4 here. Yep. That's very good. And again, guys, we don't get on us. I mean, we will. If someone says the line's 3, we would say 3.
Sure.
When I did this stuff, it was 3.5. I'll take 4 at this point because we're still live here. So again, I'll go Illinois Chicago plus 4. Why it didn't make my card, I don't know. Just because the line kind of perplexes me a little bit. It kind of doesn't make a lot of sense. And again, Illinois Chicago is not a great team, but we'll see. I'll go Illinois Chicago plus 4. Next one, Northern Colorado and Montana. An interesting game, Ryan. And again, a game that not many people are going to talk about. Mm-hmm. It's obscure for sure. It's down near the bottom, Ryan. But, when I was looking at the games this morning, I kind of saw it, and I said to myself, why is this line so high? I've noticed from what I saw with Montana, they don't blow a lot of teams out. They kind of play those 65-57 types of games all the time, and I look at Northern Colorado, and I see a team that last year was 10-21. They didn't play well. They only won 10 games, and for their stake, that's a decent season. But they got a new coach. And they're kind of believing a little bit. They're right there in the standings. They're only, I believe, a game and a half back of the first-place team. And a game like this against Montana, another good team in the Big Sky, I think they're going to have the juices flowing in this one. You look over the last couple meetings, last 3 meetings between these two, Rotten, last 3 have been decided by 7 or less. And that was when Northern Colorado wasn't very good. I look at the fact that Northern Colorado has a guy, Jordan Davis. He can take a game over, 20 points a game. And look, I like playing a team like this when they're kind of similar to Northern Colorado or Kentucky. Haven't really been relevant very often. Started to win a couple games, start to kind of believe a little bit, and they go into games thinking they can play with anyone. And I'm not impressed with what I've seen from Montana, and they haven't really looked great this year. They're not the typical Montana team that can make the tournament. I think this conference is up in the air. I think 10 points is way too many. 4 or 5, maybe I'd understand, but I think the Bears play inspired in this one. I'm going to go with Northern Colorado.
Yeah, another perplexing line that's kind of, you wonder, it's teams that are this kind of similar. I mean, you look at records 7-8 versus 8-9, not a big discrepancy there. Obviously, that goes without saying, but why one team is laying double digits over the other, that definitely kind of makes you scratch your head. And I'll definitely take the points here. And one thing a big stat for me that I look at when it comes to basketball, huge. I know it kind of goes without saying maybe, but I put more stock into it than most stats, is rebounding. I think that's one of the bigger X factors when it comes to capping basketball games. And Northern Colorado has a big edge on the glass tonight. You should get some second chance points. Limit those second chance points for a Montana team. Montana, they shoot the 3 ball well too. That's something to hang their hat on, especially at home where they're shooting close to 43%. But Northern Colorado does play pretty good 3-point defense, so should be able to limit that. Yeah, grabbing double digits here, Jeff, I like Northern Colorado tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the one kind of concern here is last year they played March 5th, 2016. Northern Colorado beat them 78-72, which maybe they remember, but they've also lost 6 of 8 on the road. But I'm not asking them to win. I just need them to hang around here. I think they play inspired here, and they get the job done here.
Northern Colorado playing good defense too as of late, only giving up 66 points per game over the last 5. So playing inspired defensively, that's obviously a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, you also look at Northern Colorado. I mean, they definitely challenged themselves at a non-conference. I mean, played Butler, Arizona, Oklahoma, New Mexico State, who will probably win the Western Athletic Conference. There's just a lot of they played well. They only lost at Arizona 71-55. Not bad.
No,
they hung around in Arizona
on the road. Yeah,
not bad. I'll hang around with the Bears. I like what Jeff Linder's done there. He's really kind of turned the corner with this team and kind of turn them around a little bit. And that's how you win bigger jobs, Ryan. A guy like this, that's how you go on and coach at a higher end West Coast school. So good for him. They're doing well. I like them here. Third and final game, Ryan. I'm gonna go with this one. I'm gonna go with Charleston plus 3.5 or minus 3.5. I'm sorry, and my line might have changed.
-4.
Okay, -4. We'll go with that one. Charleston -4 against James Madison. This one's kind of easy for me. If you know me, I tend to go with a lot of the same teams. I was high on Charleston last year. They had Kenyon Berry last year, Ryan. Imagine if he was there this year.
Exactly.
But they're still really good, Charleston. I think they're one of the favorites to win their conference. They're a team that really kind of hangs their head defensively. Yep. They really don't do a whole lot in the offensive end. They have about 3 guys that can take games over and win, but you look at what they do defensively, right? Giving up under 60 points a game. Year after year, they just continue to try to just make it really really tough to score. And a lot of people point out that James Madison's played better, and they have. I mean, they won 4 or 5. But let's look at who they beat in those 4 games, Ryan. Drexel, awful.
Yeah.
Eastern Mennonite. I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, that goes without saying.
Hofstra, who's terrible.
They're always, yeah.
And Towson, who, okay, whatever. You got a lucky win. You beat Towson. But other than that, I mean, they're not exactly good offensively either, giving up, scoring just 65 a game. They're 4-9 overall against the spread, 3-8 against it as a dog. And College of Charleston, if you're concerned about them being on the road here, wouldn't be too concerned. 6-1 overall against the spread. Yep. They've won 10 of 11. 6 have come by double digits. Listen, Charleston's not going to win it's very difficult for them to win by 20 points. There's just not a lot of possessions. And they kind of hold on to the ball and that kind of thing. But I'm not asking them to roll here. I mean, just kind of win.
It's a manageable number.
68-60 or something. I think, the one concern, a lot of their games have been close over the years. I know last couple of years these two teams have played close games. And look, I'm not going to take it away. James Madison has played better. But I think at -4, I think it's a good enough number. I relate it, Ryan, a little bit to one of the first plays of the season I had was Charleston -4.5 against Coastal Carolina.
Yeah.
It was on the road. A lot of people were concerned that Coastal would hang, and James Madison did enough. They hit free throws late, won by 7. I think we see a similar effort here, or they just roll. I'll go Charleston. This is a game they have to have. They need to continue to win. They have to have games like this. That's what's important about winning a conference like this. You have to have games like this. I think they win this one, and I think they get the job done against the spread.
Yeah, 2-1 in conference. Like you said, they need to keep winning and put some wins together here, which they have been doing overall, and they're doing it on the road. I'll tell you, how well they are defensively at home is pretty mind-boggling. Holding teams under 40% from the field and holding teams to only shooting 24% from three. That's a remarkable number right there. Not that James Madison shoots the three particularly well, but that pretty much just eliminates the three ball for the most part tonight for James Madison. So that's obviously a good thing. This reminds me of not so much the number, the situation, and everything, but College and Charleston. They remind me, I talked last night about Creighton, which was obviously, like you said, a winner last night. Two things they did really well that I think will benefit them going forward is they don't foul, and they don't turn the ball over. Charleston, only 11 turnovers per game, and only foul about 16, 17 times per game. So two low numbers there that obviously bode well. And in a close game, you got to think will kind of ultimately I think benefit them. So I like Charleston here. This was another game. It's funny, 2 of the 3 games that you talked about were 2 of the games that did kind of jump out to me.
Also, Ryan, we talk about free throws. Charleston shoots free throws well.
Yep.
James Madison, 16 turnovers a game.
Yep.
I mean, that's bad.
And they foul a lot. Foul upwards of over 20 times a game.
This has free throws written all over it at the end to cover a game. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if this is like a 6 to 10 point victory. It should be close, just because Charleston, that's just kind of how they play.
Yeah.
But the better number, the better here. If you can get a better number, obviously you look at it. But I think 4 is still a really good number here. I think they get the job done here. So it's a really 3 good plays, kind of just 3. Not too much into it.
Yep.
Just kind of going with guts here and things like that. I would say, there's always a reason that these don't make my card, but I'll come out and say it. Like if you can get Charleston at a money line and parlay it with something else, that's a good play. Mm-hmm. I really do. I really think that. So Ryan, let's get into your play of the day, because I do want to point out, Mr. Moore, we just said we will break them all down. Okay. Guys, we have to start listening to what we're talking about here. And it gets irritating because I don't like to repeat this shit every day. Here's what we'll have going forward, going till the end of basketball season. We will break down 3 games that we like. Ryan will give his play of the day, and then we'll break down most of the card.
Right. And if we miss a game or something,
remind us
at
that
throw
point.
it out at that point. Right.
But we don't need to.
Yeah.
We will get to all of your games, no problem. Ryan, we're going to go over your play of the day because I actually really like your play of the day. You told me what it was. I was actually going to give it out here, but I'll let you do it instead.
Okay.
What do you like tonight?
Yeah, I like Cincinnati at home.
What line do you got on that game?
5.5. It's been at 5.5 all day. Really, not much movement there.
Yep.
So I'm going to go with Cincinnati at home -5 against SMU. Cincinnati, man, I'll tell you what, this team's playing some good basketball right now. 13-2 on the year. They've swept the card at home. Haven't lost yet. They're 9-0, and they're covering in those games. 4-2 ATS, and overall this team's covering. So you can say the same thing though for SMU. Look, they're having a nice year. They are covering as well. They've covered. They're 8-4 ATS this year. So look, they're getting the job done as well. I just think here going to Cincinnati, I think this is a tough spot for the Mustangs. Going into Cincinnati, look, this Cincinnati team usually they hang their hat on defense. That's kind of what they've done in years past. And look, nothing has changed here for Cincinnati. They're still only allowing about 61 points per game. Very stingy, obviously. But this team this year is scoring. I mean, they're scoring 80 points per game, 90 points per game at home. I know some competition has to do with those numbers, but still,
54%.
I was just going to say, shooting 54% at home. They shoot okay from three, but SMU I just think is a little in over their head here. I think SMU going to really kind of struggle to score tonight. I think the line kind of speaks to me too at 5.5 here. I think that may bait some people into wanting to take SMU, saying, well, we're getting, especially if you buy it up to 6, if you're someone who likes to buy points, buy it up to 6. I'm getting 6 points here. I think it's a lot of points. I don't know.
Reminds you of Baylor, West Virginia a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. I like Cincinnati here to kind of keep rolling. This team's playing good basketball here. So and they've dominated. They've covered 5 of 6 in this series. So I'll go with Cincinnati.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan, this is one I really delved into pretty hard. And one thing I also noticed with Cincinnati at home, allowing opponents to shoot 35%.
Yeah.
62 points a game. So they're scoring 90, giving up 62. Really impressive stuff. And that's what I like about Mick Cronin's team this year. How many times, Ryan, do we talk about they didn't have the offense when they had Sean Kilpatrick and guys like that? They didn't have the offense to win. Now they have that.
They have it.
Jacob Evans, Kyle Washington are two fantastic guys down low, particularly Kyle Washington. You know who he reminds me of, Ryan? Yancey Gates. You remember him?
Of course.
A couple years ago?
Yep.
Cincinnati's also covered 5 of 6 against SMU. And look, I know people will point to the fact that SMU's won 10 in a row. Take a look at the schedule, and other than TCU, there's a quality opponent there? They're backable very much so at home. On the road, a different team.
Especially where they only score 66 points a game.
And shoot it at 42%. Right. That's not good enough.
Right.
I think Cincinnati is a very good player. I actually remember the other night, Ryan, it was Saturday. They played Houston. And I was kind of wondering why Houston was getting 3 points at home. I kind of felt like that was kind of a good play. And Cincinnati rolled.
Yep.
And I remember they put this game up on the screen, and I said, I wonder what that line's going to be. I really like Cincinnati in that game. And I think this is their time to show the rest of this league they're the best team. And I think they are the best team in the AAC. So I'm going to agree with you here. I like this play.
Yep.
Definitely good play of the day, Ron.
Thank you.
You mentioned it. You're not very high, though, on the rest of the card.
No, not really. It's funny. Like I said, 2 of the 3 games that we touched on were a few of the games that jumped out at me. Those 2, College of Charleston and
the first one?
Cincinnati and...
I gave it Illinois-Chicago plus 4.
Illinois-Chicago.
Northern Colorado plus 10,
yes.
And Charleston minus 4.
Yeah, Charleston and Illinois-Chicago were 2 of the two games that jumped out to me as well as the Cincinnati game. So it's funny, three games that we did touch on here. So
first 5 minutes would dictate the SMU game. If they bang the glass and refs let them play, it'll be close. Well, Jim, luckily that's most games. First 5 minutes normally does dictate
especially
the entire
on the
game.
road, sure.
Listen, I'm not going to lie and say it could be a close game all the way through, really. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I just think they're going to be a little too much.
Yeah.
Like you said, they may have trouble scoring in this one. Did Gray play against Cincinnati? He did, but he was very limited. There were times where he wasn't in there. He was kind of battling an injury the whole game. He played the other night and wasn't good at all. The other night against, I forget who they played. I think last night.
What, East Carolina?
Yeah, he didn't play particularly well from what I can remember. But he needs to get healthy, Rob Gray, before Houston can kind of get it going. So Ryan, here's what we're going to do. You got the lines in front of you.
Yep.
I don't really have the avenue to look them up. I'm just kind of use Score App. I want you to. We'll go through the whole card here.
Okay.
You read the line off, and we'll kind of discuss.
Sure. 7 o'clock. LaSalle going to Rhode Island. Rhode Island minus 12. Any thoughts there?
Yeah, Rhode Island's kind of gaining steam. I know you used them as a play of the day.
I did.
LaSalle's kind of an up-tempo under John Giannini. You're scoring a ton of points. Kind of be crash of styles here. Kind of slow it down Rhode Island, who likes to kind of defend and play in the half court. I don't know. LaSalle's kind of a gutsy. They always kind of stay in games for what it's worth. I don't have a big opinion on that game, to be honest.
I don't either. Like you said, I did back Rhode Island a little while ago against St. Joe's at home, and that's kind of where Rhode Island makes their money. They're really profitable ATS this year. Haven't lost straight up. It's going to be interesting because Rhode Island's so good defensively, and a LaSalle team that scores 80 points a game. Which side's going to win that?
Right.
And whoever does is the team that's ultimately going to cover.
With Hassan Martin back, they're definitely going to be a team to watch out for. I said I liked them early in the year, and they seem to always get an injury that kind of hurts their chances. But this year they're finally healthy, and LaSalle's definitely not a very good team. I think they're a little bit better than St. Joe's, though.
Yeah.
Not a huge opinion on that one.
I'll
look to back Rhode Island to get some of the better teams.
Okay.
In this conference.
Next one, Clemson laying 10 on the road at Georgia Tech here.
Yeah, we talked about this one round on SBR Forum. They both really like Georgia Tech in this spot.
Okay. Peter
Loshak and Mike Brenner. And, I kind of looked at some of the numbers and, again, Clemson good at home. I definitely like to back them at home. But, Georgia Tech's played pretty well.
Showed some guts going to Notre Dame and almost kind of squeaking one out there was Clemson last weekend.
Yeah.
So
listen, Clemson's a good team. I just think Georgia Tech, they play much better at home. They're pretty good defensively. I don't know. I don't like to bet against Clemson, though, so I kind of avoided it.
Right, yeah, that's kind of the way I am. I definitely will avoid that one. This is an intriguing one here. I know some people talking about it on the chat box. 7 o'clock, Notre Dame going to Miami. Miami laying 3.5 there in Coral Gables. I'll say it. I like Notre Dame.
Yeah, well, look,
I do.
Again, another clash in styles here. You have a Notre Dame team we know loves to score, fill it up. They have so many options on offense.
Yep.
Matt Farrell, I'm telling you right now, is the best point guard in the country. You can say what you want about Matt Farrell. Matt Farrell's fantastic.
Yeah.
He's played really well. As far as this game, though, now we have Miami, who is really good defensively. It's going to be interesting to see how they play here against a Notre Dame team that can really fill it up. I don't bet against Notre Dame. It's just not something I like to do. Look, I like Miami. I like Kamari Murphy. Obviously, I love Jaquan, but
right.
I don't know. I feel like this is one of those games where Larinaga wins. I don't know, though. It's really tough. I don't know. Again, I can understand you wanting to bet this game, but I don't see why you want to.
Miami's a very bad ATS team this
year.
year.
No, 3-9.
They're 3-9 ATS, or 2-5 at home. In the last 5, they've only covered 1 out of the 5.
Gun to my head, I'll go Notre Dame.
I'm going to go with Notre Dame here.
They seem to lately, last couple of years. How many games did they win at the end?
No, I hear you.
Remember?
Yep.
For me, it's just hard to kind of. It's hard to bet against. Listen, I love Miami,
and it's definitely
torn
program. Because there's people on Notre Dame, there's people on Hurricanes on the chat here. So that's definitely probably the prototypical coin flip game.
It's funny because you have some people say Notre Dame, some people on Miami.
Yep.
This is a tough game for sure. I'll be interested to watch it.
Yeah,
I feel like if you like Notre Dame, you might as well just take them money line. But,
to win,
it's going to be a great game, I would imagine. We can find out a lot about Miami tonight.
Yeah,
to me I don't know. They haven't really. We haven't heard much about them.
No, not at all. They went on the road there right after the New Year and got pounded by who they lose to.
I forget. I haven't watched
because they got pounded by somebody.
Yeah,
it was an interesting line. They got worked. I forget who it was against, but
with Duke and UNC and everybody, they don't get a lot of love down in Miami. But Larinaga is a great coach.
Yeah. Next one, Drexel. Going to Northeastern. Northeastern team having a nice year. They're laying 10. Northeastern.
Yeah, Northeastern. They've had some really good wins this year. Michigan State, Oakland, some others. But at the end of the day, I don't know. I'm not high on this. Drexel. I do think there's some good things going on at that school. Bruiser Flint was there too long. They had to move on from him. Got a new coach. But Drexel basketball isn't going anywhere. So I don't have any opinion on that game.
Gun to my head, I would lay it with Northeastern. I would. I think they're having a good year, and Drexel. Yeah, obviously Drexel doesn't do too much for me, but that's the direction kind of I would go.
Real quick, Rand, how about that? They had that game in London today in the NBA.
Oh, did they?
Yeah,
didn't know that.
Denver scored 140 points. How about that?
No kidding.
I told you the Pacers fucking suck. It
was
defensively.
The Pacers, right?
Didn't I say that?
Yeah.
I said they suck defensively.
All
they
year
are trash.
Yep.
Wow, 140 points.
All year they have.
That's going to be the highest in some time in the NBA.
It's a lot of points. Yeah.
Especially in London. Nice show.
Yeah. Big Ten game here. Ohio State at Wisconsin. Wisconsin's laying 11.5.
Yeah, tough one for me because I always feel like, I don't ever like to really bet against Ohio State for some reason. I feel like, Tate and Loving and some of those guys, I think they have talent, but I don't know.
You look at the numbers,
I don't like to bet.
Haven't been profitable.
No,
Ohio State.
And you're right. And I don't like betting against Wisconsin at Kohl Center either. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'll throw out these numbers at you, Jeff. Wisconsin 5-1 ATS at home. On the road, Ohio State 1-4 ATS.
Yeah,
So,
gun to my head, Wisconsin, but it's been a tough year with Ohio State.
it has been. Thad Matta, he's been there for so long.
Might be time to move on. From Thad.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they haven't seemed to really kind of. Ever since what's his face,
Evan Turner.
Not even that. The
Aaron Kraft.
Kraft and the left-handed kid. I forget his name. But yeah, they had a nice run that year. But ever since they left, they've been kind of just kicking the tires.
I still think they should look into Aaron Kraft's eligibility. He was there for literally 20 years.
He was there for a long time.
And
he was so annoying and pesky. God,
Yeah.
I hated him.
Right.
But next one here, Southern Miss at Old Dominion. Old Dominion -14. Line's been dropping. It opened at 17.
Yeah.
It's currently at -14. So.
Yeah, that's because one of their better players is out. I believe his name is Wright. Brandon Wright or
Brandon Stith.
Okay, well, something like that.
Yeah.
Listen, I love Old Dominion. I really do. Defensively, they're fantastic. And Southern Miss isn't going to score. But you look at Old Dominion's schedule, there's not a lot of 10-plus point victories on that schedule.
Right.
Can they do it here? Probably. Southern Miss is awful. But I get the feeling this is like a 65-54 type of game or something. It's going to be low scoring, but I'm not really wanting to lay big numbers with Old Dominion.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I am. I really don't have anything on this game. How about Townsend at home, -11 against Delaware? Delaware's really struggled.
Yeah,
this
Delaware,
year.
the Blue Hens are really bad. Towson, though, they're on the road here.
It's at Towson. Towson's
Okay, it's at Towson. Or it's in Towson, okay. Yeah, I don't know. No real opinion here. I don't really know that Towson should be laying this kind of number. Delaware stinks, but is Towson really any good either?
Right.
I mean, Towson just lost to James Madison, for Christ's sakes. I'm not big into the CAA as far as the lower tier, like this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It seems like the teams it's just boring.
Yeah, I'm not getting into that game. Kind of another one, Hofstra going to
let's skip those.
Elon.
Yeah.
We'll skip that. Anything with William and Mary?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, Louisiana Tech at Charlotte.
This is an interesting game.
This is one that I looked at.
Yeah, this is an interesting game. And I think contrary belief would be to go with La Tech here.
Right.
You have to look, though, last couple meetings, these two teams have played really close.
games.
Charlotte can score the ball.
Yep.
Don't play a whole hell of a lot of defense, though. I don't know. La Tech is interesting. Doesn't La Tech seem like they're the same team in every sport?
Always.
You're just not backable enough to get real into them. You kind of
I feel
always
like
looking.
Tulane's like that too. Those two teams.
Yeah. You're always looking for kind of a way out with La Tech. Listen, on paper, I think they should beat Charlotte, but on the road, kind of a weird number.
Yep.
And they play close games. Coin flip for me. I'm good.
That is a coin flip. How about Valparaiso going to Youngstown State? They're -8.5 here. Is Valpo?
Valpo should get the job done. The problem is no one's really playing other than Alec Peters. I mean, they don't have another option anymore. They don't have a Vasily Fernandez that can kind of defend his ass off and kind of keep you in games. Alec Peters are nothing really. And what teams are doing is kind of just bracketing him off like Oakland did and making someone else beat them. They have some good players, though. Youngstown State's not very good.
And they're terrible defensively, so you wonder about that.
Yeah. This Valpo should roll here, but I've made it clear I don't have a lot of luck with Valpo.
Right.
So I'll probably go with
Marshall, Middle Tennessee. Anything
no opinion.
there?
No opinion.
Wright State and Green Bay.
Wright State, I think, is a live dog, but they were agonizing to watch a week or so ago.
Yeah.
Green Bay's another annoying team.
Right. The line's going up, too. It opened at 4.5. It's up at 5.5. So
don't be surprised to see Wright State win that game, but I don't know. Green Bay is hot and cold.
Florida Atlantic, Texas San Antonio.
I'm good.
I don't have anything there. Western against UAB. Western Kentucky, that is, against UAB.
I'll tell you, Rick
-8.5.
Stansbury's building something in that at that school. He will have them competing in a year or two. He got a huge recruit, Ryan, about top 10 recruit also. He's building something down there. Not interested this year, but maybe next year.
Northern Kentucky going to Wisconsin, Milwaukee. Northern Kentucky -3.5. Anything?
I'm going to skip this one.
On that one. Okay. Florida International against UTEP.
Skip it.
That's a pretty crappy matchup. Gonzaga, they're
Tim
at home.
Floyd somehow still has a job at UTEP. I don't know.
Gonzaga at home laying another monster number like they seem to do every night against Loyola Marymount. They're laying almost 20, 19.5 here.
Keep in mind, St. Mary's on the horizon Saturday night. What a game that's going to be, Ryan.
Yep.
Late night.
They're always good games.
I can't wait for that. St. Mary's also, you got to look for them as far as, will they overlook their opponent tonight?
Yeah.
Loyola's I don't know what the love of. Some guys love Loyola Marymount for some reason. I don't get it. I backed them last week against fucking Pepperdine, and they couldn't get the job done.
I remember.
Listen, I think this is a two-horse race here. I think everyone else is behind. I would maybe look Gonzaga first half, maybe.
Yeah.
If they win by
Maybe
18, do they really care?
If they're up 24 with 10 minutes left, let off the gas a little.
I'll tell you what, though. I'm telling you right now, this is the best Gonzaga team they've had.
No, they're very good.
They may go into the tournament undefeated
It's
if
funny
they can
because
navigate.
I'll believe it when I see it with Gonzaga because we seem to say this every year that this is a team that can go to the Final Four and they never get there. So
hear me out for a second.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Let's say they beat St. Mary's and BYU.
Okay.
Why are they not a number one seed type of team? Why can't they be number one? Did you see their out of conference schedule?
For whatever reason, they don't get a lot of the love.
They will be number one before the end of the year. It's at some point.
Okay. Same conference here. San Francisco going to BYU. BYU laying about 12.5. Anything there?
Yeah, I've talked about it. I don't think San Francisco's very good.
Right.
Maybe over. BYU, those teams kind of
163.5.
Yeah, pretty high. Both those teams like to score, go up and down. Nothing's really wetting my whistle here. Keep going.
Battle of Arizona. State going to Arizona.
Yeah.
Arizona's laying a pretty big number here, minus 16. So
Tough number. And I'll tell you what. This is an interesting game, Ryan. Arizona State, rivalry. Arizona State's kind of a tough year.
Yep.
Bobby Hurley, we know he tries the fucking end of the whistle.
Of course.
He'll foul with 11 seconds left, down 12. That's just what he does. He's one of those rammy type of guys.
Right.
I like Arizona. They're starting to play a lot better. They're getting healthy. Markkanen, the kid I think he's from Finland or something. I'll tell you who he reminds me of a little bit. He's getting up to, kind of reminded me of Bill Walton for some reason. Kind of the way he is.
Right.
I don't know why. Barry Dirk.
Not sure that's a good. No, is that a good comparison?
No. He's very Dirk Nowitzki-ish.
Yeah,
The way he scores. Can step out, hit a big shot. They need Schreier back. When he gets back, they're going to be really good.
Yep.
I get the feeling that Arizona State covers here.
Okay.
But here's the thing with Arizona
They need to play
State.
some defense.
Yeah,
they don't play defense at all.
And here's the thing with them. The minute you start believing in them is the minute they start getting crushed.
Right.
So it looks like a price, but I don't know. It tells me kind of that Arizona might roll here.
Yeah. Another Big Ten game, Purdue laying 6 at Iowa. Iowa kind of been up and down all year. Purdue kind of is what they are. Everyone kind of knows about them at this point. Is 6 is that a reasonable number here, or is this kind of a spot where you might want to look Iowa and grab the points at home? A place they've played well, 9-2 so far this year.
Yeah, Iowa, Nebraska. Here's why I don't like the betting against Purdue. Swanigan and Haas. I don't think Haas is as good as people come across and think he is. I think there's a lot of kids like him that, listen, you're tall. I think he's soft, to be honest.
Yeah.
Swanigan, I love, though. I think Swanigan's fantastic.
Yeah.
Just having those two, though, at your front line, you're going to win a lot of games. Purdue's starting to get great guard play, and that's why they're dangerous this year. I don't know, though. Iowa at home, it's intriguing for sure. Peter Jock's fantastic. And they're starting to play a lot better basketball, right?
They are. Need to play inspired defensively tonight. Haven't been a good defensive team all year, giving up about 77 a game. If that's a number they're going to give up tonight, if they're going to give up 77 points tonight, they're not going to win.
Gun to my head,
cover, so
I would go with Purdue here.
That's kind of the way I would
I just don't trust Iowa.
Yeah, I can't either. Another Big Ten game, Northwestern at Rutgers. Northwestern laying 6.5 here.
I considered Northwestern in my card today, but then I kind of looked at it, and Trey actually made a point to me that it's 2 straight road games for for Northwestern. Northwestern seems to win games though. When was the last time they lost?
Good team.
They've won a lot of games this year, and I'll tell you what, Rutgers, Ryan. You remember when they were undefeated?
Yeah, but do
you remember that? I think they were 9-0 or something, or something crazy. How about the fact that they've been dreadful in conference? They're scoring under 60 points a game. I just haven't liked what I've seen out of Rutgers.
Right.
I don't want to bet it in front of Northwestern.
A couple Pac-12 games here.
Let me ask real quick, Ryan.
Sure.
If you have an opinion on a game, right, and you already are dead set on your opinion, why ask about it?
Not sure.
This guy asked about Iowa, Nebraska. Then he goes, I say I like Purdue. Iowa wins.
Okay.
Okay. Well, again,
I don't know. Maybe he just wants to get the other side of it. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not tailing anyone here, though. So, why is Iowa going to win? Let's hear your breakdown. You want to hear that?
I mean, he just likes them.
Yeah, but why ask for his opinion, though? But why ask for my opinion, then?
Maybe he just wants to see what you're on. Maybe if you were on Iowa, he would have felt a little bit more confident in the pick.
Yeah, I'm not on Iowa.
I'm just saying.
Back to Gonzaga real quick, Ryan. Somebody said that their resume is not good enough. I didn't see who it was. How is it not good enough? I mean, can we go over their out-of-conference schedule? San Diego State, Florida.
Which doesn't bode much anymore with San Diego State. So
Okay, Florida.
Okay.
Iowa State.
Yeah.
Arizona. Tennessee. I mean,
who's having a bad year? But
okay, a lot of good wins. Right, we have to stop with this bias of the West Coast.
It's not.
You don't
bias.
like the West Coast.
Tennessee and San Diego State, I wouldn't say weren't as good wins.
Okay, but what about the other four? The bias of the West Coast of you is gotta
It's
stop.
not bias. It's just the fact that, one, they don't play in a particularly good conference, and they're in turn, if you don't play in a good conference, then your out-of-conference wins need to make up for it, and I don't think they do enough. I don't think.
Yeah, but I think we're starting to realize that Gonzaga's not necessarily a mid-major anymore.
They're not,
I mean,
and I think
they're a real team.
And I think they're a good team. And I think they're a team that year in and year out, obviously. People and they obviously think they could compete for a national championship. They just don't ever seem to get over the hump. And until they get over the hump, and I don't even ask them to win a championship, get to the Final Four. Until that happens, I'm not going to put my money in on them. I'm just not going to do it until they prove it. They're a good team, yes.
Well, I'm not. That's not what I asked you, though. I said, do you think they can be a number one seed and be a number one type of team?
Well, yeah, I think they can. I think they have the talent. I think they're an extremely talented team. But
yeah, I think they would beat Indiana. I think they would beat a lot of some of these upper end teams. I think they would beat West Virginia. I really do.
Right.
I think there's a lot of teams in the top 10 that I think they would beat. But we'll see. It's definitely interesting. But I don't think. Look at this guy. That's crazy. He beat Bernard Hopkins. Now look at him back at the work site.
That's crazy.
That's great. And Ryan, actually, Philly guy makes a great point. They have been to the Final Four.
Okay, when was that?
He did pull that one out.
When was that? How long ago? How long ago was that?
Several years ago, but they've made it to the Final Four. So, just saying.
Great.
When is Michigan's made it only once, I believe, though, in the last 15 or so years.
So they still made it.
They're on the same level, right?
So,
can anyone tell me why Iowa State is plus 20K to win it all? Plus 20K? I find that pretty hard to believe.
It's a big number.
20. Wow. I don't know. Probably because they don't win a lot either. They're another team that's...
So they went to the Final Four when Adam Morrison was there. That was over a decade ago.
He's just making a point.
I know, but it was over a decade ago. So...
Okay. Well, Ryan doesn't like West Coast teams.
I don't. That's not true.
It is. You've over the years always had some sort of...
It's not true.
Okay.
But I've heard the same thing with Gonzaga over the last 4 or 5 years about how good they are, and they fizzle out.
I mean, it's pretty hard to get to the Final Four.
It's very hard.
Just because teams get to the Final Four doesn't mean they're not good.
I agree, but...
show us.
Okay. That's all I'm saying.
The reason Ryan thinks this is because several years ago they were number one seed with Kelly Olynyk, and they struggled against Southern in the first game.
They did.
They didn't get the... But they won. Who cares?
They struggled with Southern, and then they lost the next game, correct?
Okay, so they had a bad
and they
game.
were a number one
Just like
seed.
Michigan State did last year and Duke did the year before. Every team has a hiccup. It's a one-game tournament, right?
I hear you.
But listen, I think it's their best team yet. We'll see what happens. I haven't.
And you just have this like you honestly don't listen when I speak because I'm not sitting here saying they're a bad team.
Okay.
I think they're a good team.
So where's your ceiling for them? What do you think they can do this year?
I think they can make I think they can make a deep run.
This is their strongest out of conference schedule they've had.
Can they get to a Final Four? Sure. Can they get to the national championship? Probably.
Okay,
they're very talented.
I guess the question would be, and real quick, I just want to see this because I think it would be interesting to know, and then we'll move on.
Thank you, Best Gambler.
They get BYU in the last game of the season, February 23rd. So let's say at that point they're undefeated.
Thank you, Best Gambler.
Let's say Best Gambler is some kind of fucking
Oh, you corrected him.
He loves Ryan. He should suck his cock, probably.
He just made a correction.
No, good for him. That's great.
I want things to be accurate.
He said it, not me.
I know. Well, you tooted his horn for it.
Okay. Right, again, the constant disdain for the Western Coast
It's not
teams.
disdain.
We're just going to move on here. Go ahead. Next one.
I just said that I think they can win it all. Is that not good enough?
I didn't hear you say that.
I did. I said they can get. I think they can get
No,
all the way.
you went into this diatribe about how they never went to the Final Four. Like, that's relevant at all.
It is.
Because you're the same guy that will say about, well, Dallas doesn't want to play with
certain teams are snake bitten. They are. Certain teams can't get over the hump.
I don't care what they did 5 years ago, though. I'm talking about right here.
We look at
right
ATS trends that say the team hasn't covered in their last 3 years.
That's relevant to me because it's the same players. I don't care what they haven't done in the last 5 years. I don't care about that.
Well,
I'm cared about what they've done this year. So let's go to the next one.
Okay. Pac-12, couple Pac-12 games here.
Right.
Washington going to Cal. Cal laying -12 here. Markelle Fultz, he's a little banged up, but he's going to play tonight, so just getting that out there. California at home laying 12 points.
A lot of points.
Big number.
I'm telling you, Cal is good. They're impressive.
Yeah, they just had a nice win.
Should have won the other night. Or did win the other night. I'm sorry. Against USC.
Yes.
I get some of them confused
road.
sometimes. They did win the other night. Jabari Bird, everyone's healthy again. Watch out for Cal. Washington sucks. I'm going to say that.
Yeah, they're not good.
And if you're Markelle Fultz, I mean, what are you extending yourself for? It's not like you're staying after this year anyway.
He made a Ben Simmons mistake. I mean, really going to a place like that.
Markelle Fultz is, to me, if you watch him play, he looks completely disinterested.
He probably is.
And look, he still plays really well. It's just me, Markelle Fultz. And as far as the decision, I agree. I think it was a bad decision. But I often wonder what Lorenzo Romar does to get recruits. You look at what he did next year.
Maybe he pays.
Do you know what he did to get?
Maybe he pays him off.
Well, no. What he does is he'll get like Michael Porter, the number 2 recruit. He got him and his brother to come to Washington. You know how he did it? He got their dad to be a coach there.
Yeah, that happens all the time,
And what's his name did it at Johnny Jones did it at LSU with Ben Simmons.
That kind of stuff happens all the time, and money's involved.
What's Markelle Fultz's reasoning?
Yeah, recruiting's a tricky game.
Markelle Fultz is from Maryland. It's like, you mean to tell me Villanova didn't recruit him or what?
You never know.
But
when a team like Washington recruits that well, it makes me wonder somewhat.
Yeah. He is a great recruiter. I've talked about that before. I don't know. Probably Cal.
USC going to Utah. Utah laying 5.5. I don't usually like betting against USC or betting on USC on the road. So
Utah's getting healthier. I will point that out. They've gotten 2 transfers eligible to play. Held tough against Arizona. Just didn't have enough. Listen, until Benny Boatwright comes back, I don't really think USC is that special. But
Fullerton versus Cal Poly, anything there?
No.
Irvine against Santa Barbara. You got anything?
That's actually a Klein play of mine.
Okay, so we'll pass. Santa Clara.
Let's.
I know. I'm just throwing it out there. Pepperdine, Pacific.
Are there any bigger games?
These are the teams that Gonzaga beats up on, by the way.
Funny.
UC Davis, Cal Riverside. You like UC Davis at all this year?
No,
I
don't.
Okay. Washington State, Wazoo going to Stanford. Stanford laying 6.5 here.
Yeah, this line's ridiculous.
This is ridiculous.
Reed Travis not playing, who is all Stanford has.
Correct.
Listen, do I think Dorian Pickens can lead the charge tonight? No. Wouldn't be surprised to see Washington State win the game outright, but I'll take the points.
Yeah,
here.
it is a weird line for sure. It definitely jumped out.
This is totally about. No one really knows what they're going to get with Washington State.
Right.
That's what this is.
Late game here, 11 o'clock, UCLA traveling out to Boulder. They're laying 5 against Colorado on the road. That line's coming down. It opened at 7. It's down to -5. So people like Colorado here.
Yeah, I'm good. I don't think Colorado's that good.
I would kind of lean UCLA.
I think UCLA wins by double digits.
Okay. Here you go, Shoddy. Tennessee State. You wanted East Tennessee State.
It's East Tennessee
We'll
State.
get to them.
Yeah, they're playing Greensboro.
Yeah, we'll get to them. Tennessee State going to East Carolina, East Kentucky. Anything there, Jeff? Or?
No, nothing there. Tennessee State, very good defensively, though.
We got Belmont going to Morehead State.
Morehead's awful. Belmont should roll, but Belmont seems to play down their competition, similar to Davidson.
Okay.
I'll avoid.
West Carolina VMI, that's a pretty shit game there.
I'll tell you what, West Carolina, they've really struggled this year. VMI, though, is really bad also.
They're bad.
Could see a situation where Western Carolina wins that game.
East Tennessee State laying 10 at home to Greensboro.
Greensboro better than you might think, but I don't like to step in front of East Tennessee State. They've made me a lot of money this year.
I mean, they've covered as a favorite, 8-2 to the number.
Yeah,
that's the same number that Florida was when I backed them the other night against Alabama.
I liked what I saw from them last week. They went on the road to Mercer. Okay,
8-2.
Mercer's a good home team. Always play hard. Winter weather. Got there. It was kind of a long trip. They went in, got the job done. I wish this line was like 7.5, 8 because I would play it, but at 10, 10 and a half, I'm not.
If it was a little lower, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of right on the verge there. Absolutely, I definitely agree with that. Quinnipiac, Siena.
No.
Nothing there. Murray State, Eastern Illinois.
I think we can stop.
Yeah, and then the rest are just kind of.
Yeah.
If we didn't touch on one and you want us to touch on them, then.
If you have an opinion on any other game, sorry.
Yeah.
And we're not going over North Dakota and Sac State.
Right.
Though I think North Dakota's probably got a good play. Yes, you missed.
Where you been?
Let's move on. Let's go to the NFL, Ryan. We went over everything.
Let's go to the NFL. We're done.
Yeah, we even talked. Wow, what a surprise! Someone actually wants us to break down something else. I think we did enough here.
Yeah, I like Eastern Washington.
By the way, I've had some guys lately. They don't like kind of the way I am in a way. Ryan, you know me. Listen, this is how I am. I don't like people that challenge my authority and my opinion. But I guess I have to kind of accept people's opinions on here, just because I am asking for you to listen to me. But that's just how I am. Sorry.
Yeah.
There's nothing really I can do to change that. It's just one of my flaws, I guess. I guess my flaw is I don't give a fuck about anyone's opinion. Maybe that's what it is.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Maybe I should though. I care about people's opinions when I don't know what I'm doing. I get if
Right.
I don't know about cars, so I trust the mechanic's opinion.
Sure. Right.
But when you have an agenda, when you come to me and you try to have an agenda and try to talk me out of something, that's when I kind of avoid. How to take a shit? Give me a break. Not sure we need to know that. No offense.
Anyway, on to the NFL.
Let's go to the NFL here, Ryan. We'll go over all 4 games and see what we think.
Okay.
First one, 4:35 Saturday. We have the Atlanta Falcons -5 against the Seattle Seahawks. Over under 51.5. Atlanta. We talked about this, Ryan, a lot this year. 8-18 is a favorite. They're not a very good team laying points.
No.
They did cover all 4, though, against the NFC West this year. If you remember, they played Seattle.
Up in Seattle.
Yeah, and they covered. They
should have
didn't
probably
win.
won outright. Remember the
Yeah.
Controversial Julio Jones no pass interference call? So.
Yep. Now it's in Atlanta. Seattle, 16 points a game on the road. How about that?
That's pathetic.
That's not very good. Russell Wilson playing a little bit better, but I'm always concerned about that offensive line. I'm always concerned about their lack of playmakers. Atlanta's great, man. 35 points a game at home. I wonder about them, though, defensively, though. I mean, I guess they're really good, or they're really bad, but, it's not like Seattle's really anything special.
No, they don't have a high-power offense at all.
I'm not in love with this game. I'll give a pick just because we have to. I don't really see a ton to really break down here. It's either, do you like... and look, another thing I want to point out, since Earl Thomas went out, this secondary has not been the same secondary.
Not at all.
Definitely able to be thrown on. I'll lay it with Atlanta at home. I think, if they can get the right matchups, I think they're really tough out. Yeah, Seattle needs to try to run the ball, but they haven't really been able to do that much this year, really. Heard they might get C.J. Procise back, but I won't wait for that. I would lay it with Atlanta. I'm not in love with the play, but But again, Seattle seems to always kind of hang around in the playoffs.
Always.
Wouldn't be surprised to see this 27.
As long as they got Russell Wilson, they're kind of always in games.
Any thoughts on over? Maybe
part of me wants to grab the points with Seattle. I think Atlanta wins, but I think it's a close game, like a field goal game, and Seattle maybe covers. It's tough. I just think it's a tough matchup. Without Earl Thomas, the secondary doesn't have an interception. You mentioned they've struggled. They really have. Now they got to go into the Dome, a place Matt Ryan thrives, and they put up a shit ton of points. Does Atlanta at home? 35 points a game at home this year. So I'll go with Atlanta. I'll go with Atlanta. It's with bated breath because of the lack of success they've had as a favorite.
Yeah, and I mean they don't make the playoffs that much.
No.
So I mean, you got to wonder how many of these guys have been to the playoffs. But Matt Ryan's been great all year.
Right.
We talked about Julio Jones. When he has under 50 yards, they're really effective. Mm-hmm. When he has over, they're not as effective. So that'll be interesting too. Maybe they kind of bracket him.
I think they need him to be effective on Saturday.
Agreed.
Though.
Agreed. In a dome though, and Seattle's kind of negativity on the road. Seems like they're always not really a great back on the road.
No, they're not.
I'll go Atlanta here. Not in love with it though. Next one, 8 o'clock Eastern. Patriots minus 15.5 against the Texans. Over under 44. Ryan, in the last 40 seasons, there have been 3 teams that have been 15-point favorites or higher. How many have covered?
How many teams?
3.
They've all 3 covered.
That's correct, and they've covered by more than 20 points in each of them. So they've won by more than 20 in all of them. You look at New England, 13-3 at home, or 13-3 against the spread this year, 6-2 at home. They've covered 17 of 24 in Foxborough. They've also covered 4 in a row against Houston. If you remember, week 1, I believe it was, or week 2, 27-0. They beat the Texans. No Tom Brady either. They still shut them out.
Correct.
27-0.
Brissett was the quarterback.
Yep, correct. New England's also covered 6 of 9 as a home favorite of 14.5 or higher. So they're covering these big numbers too. They have the best overall defense in the NFL as far as points are concerned. They're only giving up 15.5 points per game. That's impressive.
Some people think they're not good though.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Like you said, and we saw it a lot with Jim Johnson defense back when we were younger, is bend but don't break.
Our old friend and former Patriot supporter up north, we know who I'm talking about here, he mentioned he didn't think that Patriots are good defensively at all, which I don't get.
Right.
You look at Osweiler, he's in here, 16 interceptions, 15 touchdowns.
He's just not good.
Yeah, I mean...
Remember in the beginning of the year when I said that he would have an awful year? Do you remember when I said that?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, I do. Houston's also 2-6 on the road, scoring 15 points a game.
I'm saying, how about we thought Seattle's numbers were bad?
Yeah.
I mean, this team on the road only scores 14 points.
And I'll tell you what, you talk about a defense that's a little overrated, Houston. They have the least plays on the field this year, so they're not playing as many plays as everyone else. Do they have a good pass defense? Yeah, but let's remember, they're playing the best quarterback ever. So let's see how they play. I also, Ryan, I want to make a point. Did you hear what Tom Brady was saying about this? He's dialed in for this game. And he never talks about an opponent.
Yeah.
He's taking this game seriously.
Right.
He's taking the Texans seriously. Listen.
I like New England.
Yeah, I love New England, actually. I'm going to lay the number. I always love these people. Well, I don't really want to lay 15 in a playoff game.
Right.
Have you looked at some of the numbers in this one?
Yeah.
Under seems like a good play as well, Ryan. In 14 games this season, the combined scores stayed under 45 points 14 times for Houston. A lot of low-scoring games. I'm concerned, though, New England scores 35 here.
That's the problem. I can see New England. And Houston does have a good defense and a little more susceptible on the road, as most teams are. But, going in there against Tom Brady, he's extremely focused this year. Obviously, that goes without saying. And kind of look at his numbers. They're astronomical this year after missing 4 games. I just can't get it through my mind. Like, if I'm going to back Houston, I really think that Osweiler has been just awful all year. It's going to go into Foxborough at night and be able to put up enough points to cover the number. I don't see it.
Okay,
so
let's say
I'll go Pats.
I mean, do we really think that New England? I mean, is Houston going to score 14 in this game? I don't think
they'll be lucky.
I think honestly, I think it's like a 31-10.
They'll score somewhere between, I think, maybe 14 and I think 17 is their absolute limit.
Yeah,
because you have to obviously kind of prepare for special teams and shit like that. So, but offensively, I would say 14 is their max.
Yeah, I think this is like a 34-14 type of game.
Yep.
I really do. I'm not taking the Texans here. I'm sorry.
So we like both home teams here.
Correct.
On Saturday.
Yep, that's correct. Let's move on to Sunday's games here. Kansas City -1 against the Steelers. Over under 43.5. Ryan, you remember back on October 2nd? Do you remember what happened that day?
Well, when the Steelers pounded
Pittsburgh won 43-14.
I think that's kind of irrelevant.
Yeah.
That was so long ago.
Correct.
But it definitely
interesting though.
It is interesting, right?
Kansas City also. I'd like to bring up to all those people that say they have a great defense, a shutdown defense. They're actually 24th in total defense in the league. Their run defense is bad. They haven't been that good against the pass either. Listen, Pittsburgh's playing some good football right now. Le'Veon Bell's starting to become, probably the best in the league. I think he should be able to run wild here. I don't really trust Alex Smith, never have. And I get the feeling, for whatever reason, Mike Tomlin figures out a way to shut down Mr. Hill. I'm going to go with the underdog here on the road. I know Andy Reid's great off a bye. I get that, but I don't know. I like Kansas City. I've said that, but I just like the way the Steelers are playing right now. Love Big Ben, and I don't think Kansas City's good enough to stop the run. I'll go with the Steelers here.
Yeah, this is tough. I think this is the toughest game of the weekend.
Sure.
I do. Obviously, and the line says so. I mean, it's almost a pick 'em. You got a Pittsburgh team.
It's actually saying the Steelers should be a favorite, maybe. I mean, because doesn't Kansas City get 3 for being at home?
Right. So it's a good point. I have a slight lean to Kansas City. I know they can't stop the run, but they do play particularly well defensively at home, only giving up about 15, 16 points a game. It's hard to bet against Pittsburgh as well as they're playing though right now, and they're healthy. They got everyone back finally for a postseason run, so they're obviously a real dangerous team. But I'm good on this game. I have a slight lean to Kansas City, but I'll be honest, I won't be betting this game. I just think it's a toss up, and those aren't the games that I like to back. I want to have an advantage one way or the other.
Yeah, I think the Steelers are a better team. So I'll go with them. I don't have a ton on it, but just kind of feel play. Dallas -5 against Green Bay, over under 52. Green Bay's covered 6 of 7 overall, playing some great football, moving the football as well. I don't think it matters who's playing or not. Aaron Rodgers is kind of doing it himself. Defensively, they are bad. They're a really bad defensive team, I think. 9 of 10 in this series have gone over in Dallas. We know Dallas is going to be able to score points. I think Green Bay is going to be able to score points here. I think it's a pretty high-scoring game. 52 is a high number. It's kind of, when you're talking to a sharp bettor, they kind of cut their losses at 50 and don't bet anything higher. I get the feeling this one's a high-scoring 31-24 or something. I mentioned I like Green Bay, too. I think they can win this game. I think finally, don't be surprised to see Green Bay kind of hold Ezekiel Elliott in check. They have a pretty good run defense.
Ever since they've gone on this run, their defense in general has been better, Jeff.
Yeah.
Obviously Rodgers has been putting up astronomical numbers, but defensively they've been better. And
I'll go with my gut. I'm going to take Green Bay. I'm going to
go with Green Bay as well. I don't mind the overplay there either. If totals are kind of your thing, but we're going to learn a lot about Dallas. Obviously, that kind of is going to hold serve. Let's see what the rookies can do. I mean, because basically that's what's got them to this point is Zeke and Dak. So let's see. And finally, we're going to see what this defense gives us in Dallas, because I still think the Dallas defense is susceptible to kind of big play offenses and high power offense, and that's what Rodgers has.
And that's what I don't trust them. I don't think their defense can play 2 high level games in a row, 3 high level games in a row. I don't think they're that good, and I think they're finally going to see this weekend a great quarterback. I'll go with my gut. I've said I like Green Bay all week.
Yep.
I'll continue to go with that. We did actually pretty well in the NFL this year, Ryan. If you go back and listen to our shows, we attacked the whole card, and we did pretty well most of the weeks. Last week we took Pittsburgh; they covered. We took what was the late game? We took Green Bay.
I liked Houston. I think we had the under in that.
Yeah, I have to go back and listen, but I think we did pretty well from what I remember. Yeah. We'll go Atlanta -5. Patriots -15. I like KC. Mm-hmm. You don't really have any.
You like
I like Pittsburgh. I'm sorry. You don't really have any feeling on the game, and I like Green Bay. So do you. Let's finish it up, Ryan, with 5 questions. A lot of other things going on in the world of sports today as well. What do you have for us today?
Yeah. Yep. 5 questions here to kind of close things out, kind of like we do for the most part on this show. First one, like I said, San Diego. They're leaving after, I think, 53 years in San Diego. They're moving to L.A., going to be the L.A.
It's a half an hour away. Who cares?
So, what would you do if your team left the city? So, if the Philadelphia Eagles packed up and moved to Montana,
right,
and we're the Montana Eagles or whatever,
right.
Would you follow them? Would you not have a favorite team? Would you pick a favorite team? What would you do? Because I've thought about that. It's funny. One of my friends have talked about that. I remember we had a conversation, and I said, I'll answer the question first quickly. I said I wouldn't root for anyone. I think I would. We bet on the game, so that makes the sport intriguing enough. So I don't think I would have a team anymore. I don't think I'd have a favorite team anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it before. I don't really like the NFL personally. I love the Eagles not only because it's in my blood, but it's Philadelphia. I mean, that's where we're from.
It's a football town.
Yeah, that's what that's what it is for me. And listen, it will never happen. But I think if it does happen, a lot of it's from the owner. They do it. They're the ones that move the team.
They are.
And I've made it clear I hate this owner anyway. So. That would actually make me hate the guy even more. I wouldn't root for them anymore. There's an essence about going down there and watching a game and talking about it on the radio and all that kind of thing. So no, I wouldn't root for anyone because I don't like the NFL very much.
Okay. Yep. We're the same on there. Number 2, Sixers get a big win last night. I'll be honest. I turned the game off with about 2 minutes left.
They were down 10.
They were down 10. I turned it off. I hopped on Twitter. I saw McConnell at the buzzer. I was like, shit, I turned the game back on, caught the replay. I was like, damn, good for them.
They literally think they won the NBA Finals.
So, they should be excited, Jeff.
Why?
It's
one game.
This team's been in turmoil
the Knicks
for the last
What did they win?
years.
They won one game.
Right,
Who
but
cares?
you play to win. So they should be
beat the
excited.
Knicks.
It's people like you that are classic. I mean, really,
They
why
beat-
should they not be excited?
They beat the Knicks.
So?
And they barely beat the Knicks.
This team has struggled to win 10 games for the last 3 years.
And
they're over their total, and they won at the buzzer. Why shouldn't they be
Listen,
excited?
I've made it clear. I'm happy with what they're doing. I like the fact they're doing
Right.
But all I see on TV is fucking TJ McConnell like he's won the NBA Finals.
I mean, it's big.
They beat the Knicks.
Yeah, you have to put it in context.
I mean, and they needed a collapse. They didn't beat the Knicks. The Knicks beat themselves.
but they won, and that's
Good.
That's a big
Good for
win.
them.
Yeah, that's a big win for them. They're playing well. What have they won? 4 of 5? 5 of 6?
At the end of the day, will this mean anything? This win right here. Will
No,
mean
it
anything?
won't. But they're the ones that are out there playing. The players are playing, and ultimately you play the game that you're in.
One or
and
two
they
will be
won.
around long term, so
And
I'm
they
not
won.
concerned.
But still, it's exciting for them. It's exciting for those guys.
Good for
Back to the question at hand: are the Knicks the most pathetic team in the NBA? Take everything.
Yeah,
I'm going to answer.
yeah,
I think yes. If you look at their roster and the quote unquote talent that they have, some of the bigger names that they have,
They've tanked for 4 straight years. What am I supposed to be optimistic?
you want to look. You want to look at. The Raptors, or not the Raptors. The Nets are the worst team record-wise. But their roster is pretty bad.
Right.
You want to look at some of the other teams. I think if you're going to look at the bottom feeders of the league, and then you look at the Knicks, and their roster is better, I think, than any other bottom feeder in the league. And this is the product that they're putting out. I think the Knicks are the most pathetic team.
So
in
you
the NBA right
basically continue to rectify my point I was just
now. No,
making.
it's a good win. A win is a win, regardless of who you beat.
Yeah, no, I think the Knicks are just because it's how many years in a row are we going to do it? The same animosity between this team and their fans. I mean, get rid of Carmelo. I mean, at what point are we going to get rid of Carmelo? You get guys not showing up. If you really think Derrick Rose had a family issue, so he couldn't call and say, "Hey, we have a family issue. I'm not going to make it tonight."
Bye.
He just doesn't show up.
It takes 10 seconds.
Get someone to sell them.
Right.
Do something.
I thought Phil Jackson coming in was supposed to be the savior.
Nah, he's still worried about Jeannie Buss and dates and stuff. They're a mess. I feel bad for Porzingis because I think he's a pretty good player.
He's a good player.
It's a shame.
Nice air ball at the end last night on 3.
That was a bad decision.
That allowed them to win the game.
Horrible decision by a rookie, by the way. You got to continue to move the ball around. There was still 7 or 8 seconds left on the shot clock. Yep. He should have drove to the hoop. Probably would have got fouled and they would have won the game.
Yeah.
Again, I think it was the Knicks lost that one, and that's where I look at the Sixers last night and I'm like, okay. I mean, first of all, they got pretty much owned the whole game, and a game that they really had a lot to win. I mean, they should have won that game pretty handily. Knicks were in a horrible spot. But yeah, to answer your question, I 100% agree. The Knicks are probably the worst, most pathetic.
Yeah, they
team.
are in my eyes right now. Just look at what they have to work with. All right, a couple different questions here. A couple food
Did
questions.
you say Phil Jackson's overrated? Who said that? Oh, Chip Mack. We talked about overrated coaches. How about Phil Jackson? Yeah, dude, what?
I don't.
He won like he won like 4 championships. What?
Did have a lot of talent around them, but
Listen, I think he's a great coach.
he's a good coach.
You know, I don't know that Chip's question's that ridiculous.
No.
Because we talked about even like a Nick Saban.
Right.
If Nick Saban didn't get,
I mean, look at Phil Jackson. I mean, he had Jordan and all them teams. Then he flips the scripts and goes with Kobe and Shaq. I mean, Jesus.
I think a guy like, to me, a great coach is someone that not only will work with nothing and get gold out of it, similar to like Gene Hackman's character in Hoosiers.
Right.
Like, that's a real coach. Someone that, not only is off the court, but like Popovich.
Yes.
He doesn't get the greatest talent in the world.
Right.
But he knows how to kind of intertwine it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think...
Next couple questions here are food related. We always like those.
Right.
Last night? You had to laugh at me. I'm sitting in my room and it's like 9:30 or something, 10 o'clock, and I had a craving for something sweet, so I had to run down to the corner store and I picked up some I picked up a candy bar. I picked up a Reese's. That's my favorite, so I needed something sweet. So it got me thinking. What is your go-to sweet? And you don't have like the biggest sweet tooth in the world, Jeff.
No.
But what is your go-to sweet? You need something. You want something sweet. Like, what's your go-to?
Yeah. Usually, like the sugar cookies that I get, the iced ones. I like them. They're kind of a nice little treat.
Right.
But I don't really eat like ice cream. I actually had to get me some. I don't eat ice cream really ever.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you last time I made ice cream. I'm not a big cookie person.
Uh-huh.
I hate candy.
Right.
So I guess that's probably why I've never had braces or anything.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I gotcha.
What about you?
Yeah, that's close because I have a huge sweet tooth, so I can name a lot. I love Reese's peanut butter cups, and this peanut butter pie my mom makes is pretty out of this world. So
a nice piece of pie is always pleasant, I guess.
Yeah,
or I do like birthday cake too.
Yeah, that's good too.
You ever
Yeah, no.
I like birthday cake. Sure. We got a couple here. Milky Ways, never had those. Twizzlers, I used to eat them once in a while. My dad and I would eat them. Payday, I've never had that.
Interesting.
Only the finest Cambodian breast milk.
People are weird, man.
I see many of you aren't getting comedy jobs anytime soon.
Next one. Another food related. If you couldn't eat one fast food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Could or couldn't?
Couldn't.
Oh, couldn't.
You have to pass up one fast food for the rest of your life.
That's it. McDonald's.
McDonald's for you?
I can't tell you last time you eat McDonald's. I don't know how people eat it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know how people smell it, to be personally honest.
Right.
You would agree with that, right?
Yeah.
McDonald's is pretty bad.
McDonald's doesn't do anything for me. Their lunch and dinner, I think, is awful. I'll be honest, I do like McDonald's breakfast occasionally, but other than that, it's...
I'll actually go one better with you, Ryan. I don't know that there's... If they abolish fast food today,
yeah,
I don't think I'd have a problem with that.
Okay.
I don't eat it.
Right.
And people will find that interesting. They'll say to me, like, you don't eat fast food, you don't eat sweets, how are you overweight?
Right.
And I actually don't even know myself, actually. I do drink a lot of soda, and I eat a lot of bread, unfortunately. So that's kind of my hampering. But I wish I could kind of just get it straight, because I don't eat that bad, I don't think. But, yeah, as far as, like, I've never eaten Taco Bell before.
Got to be active. That's big.
Yeah. I've never eaten Taco Bell, never eaten Wendy's. I've never etten any of that stuff, honestly. I do like Chick-fil-A, though.
Chick-fil-A is very good, right. Yeah, McDonald's would probably be mine as well. Last one, it kind of piggybacks off the first question. Do you like the whole... Because there's a few in different sports.
Hey, Ron, half of America would starve with an abolition of fast food. That's so true. If fast food went away, like most of like lower end America would definitely die. Long John Silver's, you ever eaten there?
Oh, who said that? That's a great one. Who said that? Best Gambler. That's a good one. That place is terrible.
I've never eaten there.
I like seafood a lot. I ate there once when I was younger, and it was terrible.
Yeah, I've never eaten Arby's, honestly.
Arby's is good.
Arby's seems like it would be good.
It is good.
Chick-fil-A is real good, though.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yep.
We got a long life story here. Let me just jump over it quick. Just got the Atlanta question. Georgia Tech basketball ticket holder is the worst team I've ever seen. I blame the coach, blah, 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 blah. My question is, do you ever go to games and find yourself forced to play just for the live entertainment? That's a great question, Ryan. Here's what I'll say to the live entertainment piece. No, I don't. I don't bet a lot of games I go to. Sometimes I will, just to have fun. But I think that's all about bankroll, Ryan, really. If you have the bankroll to waste money on plays that you're not really confident in, yeah. I think that's kind of an okay thing. But I don't do it, really. Do you do that? We make up lines and stuff. We made a lineup the other night at that.
Well, it's funny.
At that high school game.
It depends. It all depends. If I have an angle, sure.
Yeah.
If I feel confident. Perfect example. When I went out to Ann Arbor this past year.
Yeah.
I bet Michigan.
Yeah, you love that game.
I love that game. I thought it was a great line. The line was dropping at game time. I got it for the longest time. It was like 22, 23. It dropped below 3 touchdowns. I got it at 20 and a half. And I thought it was a great line, so I pulled the trigger on it. So not only did Michigan win, they killed Penn State. I had a great time. Plus, I made some money. So it's awesome. So, yeah, it all depends. It depends if you
I have
like
an
the game.
employee who literally goes to fast food spots with her husband and sits down to enjoy. I don't think that's that big a deal.
Some people like it.
Because, I like diners and stuff. I mean,
that's-
is that much different? Really?
Kind of. I mean, fast food's bad, man. Fast food's like the way it's prepared. It is bad, but that's the best part is we know it's bad for us, but we eat it anyway.
Yeah. Chris Everett. Look up Chris Everett Gym Room. Yeah, we've
seen that. Yeah.
I bet you won't, Chris.
Yeah.
Ryan, what's your rush tonight? I'm just asking.
I don't know. It's like 6:30.
But you're not doing anything tonight. I mean, we're having a cool conversation.
I guess.
Let's continue. Ryan's obviously got a place.
I mean, I don't know.
Where are you going for dinner? You're eating here.
I
so
just
what
kind
do
of
you
want
have?
to just get through it. That's
Okay, continue.
my back starts to hurt. If you don't know, we're sitting on the couch right now. Like
Continue.
It's just,
We're good.
It's just uncomfortable.
We'll be done in a minute.
Like I said, piggybacks off the first question. Do you like the whole 2 teams, 1 city thing?
I don't have a problem with it.
No.
I mean, I wouldn't really want it in my town, but
I think it's kind of cool. I agree. I wouldn't want it in my town. I think it's kind of cool because it gives you like the rivalry thing with like Chicago and the Cubs and White Sox and Jets, Giants. It would be kind of nice if the Jets and Giants were in.
since when did they rivals? I can't remember last time that game meant anything.
No, but I mean, it's always a fun rivalry for the city. I mean, when they play each other, it's always. I mean, because they're so close in proximity and.
Yeah, I don't.
With the fans and everything.
I don't hate it. I kind of would rather them just all be separated, but.
Right.
I wonder how some places have like teams, like Columbus. They have a team.
Yeah.
Like how do they have a team? Is that even that big a city?
Columbus, Ohio.
And they have a college there. I mean,
Right.
I kind of look at some of the hockey teams. I'm like, I have a team.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Like Calgary. Like,
It's
how big is that?
Canada,
team?
dude.
Yeah, I know.
That's
But
their sport up there.
like St. Louis, do they really need a hockey team? Florida,
Well, Florida shouldn't really have many sport teams. To be honest with you.
Arizona.
I think Florida, and their tickets. They don't sell. I mean, you look at a Florida Panthers game.
Yeah, it's bad.
There's never anyone there.
The biggest
you can say
violation.
the same thing with the sports teams, with the Bucks and the Jags. I mean,
Yeah, the biggest violation in sports, I think, is when you have a hot weather like a Florida, and you go to a hockey game,
yep,
and you walk outside, and it's like
it just doesn't.
it's like Christmas in hot weather. It's like
it's weird.
I will say though, Ron, as I get older, more and more, I want to go somewhere where it's warm all the time.
Yeah,
Like I hate cold weather anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just it's disgusting.
and that's why I kind of would. I always.
It's the capital doesn't mean anything. I mean, Albany's the capital of New York. I mean, do they deserve a team? I mean,
yeah, no, I hear you.
Carson City's the capital of Nevada.
Right.
I mean, what's the capital of Pennsylvania?
Harrisburg.
New Jersey.
And we don't have a team. Trenton.
Good. You're good, Ryan. Yeah, the state capital thing's kind of weird. They're always like small.
They're always small. Yeah.
But all right, guys, everyone have a great night. We will be back. We'll be back Monday. We're not going to have a show tomorrow. I just have a lot to do tomorrow. We got some stuff we're doing. So we won't be back. We went over the NFL.
Yep.
I will be back Saturday, though, SBRforum.com, going over the card with Justin from SBRforum.com. We'll be live on the air, 10:30 Eastern. Many of you joined me last week. We had some fun. We'll go over questions. I'll take questions, that kind of thing. Saturday, look out for that. Sunday, maybe we'll do something quick. I don't know. Take a listen to Twitter, and we'll be on there. But our next live show will be Monday. we'll go over everything that goes on. Ryan, I'm sure you'll probably release a free player too, right?
Yeah.
Keep a lookout for Ryan. If you're not following him, Dia, DIA18. You can find him on Twitter. As far as tonight's plays, he is on Cincinnati -5.5. Free plays for me. I like Charleston -4, Northern Colorado +10, Illinois Chicago +4. Everyone have a great night. We'll be back Monday with another edition of The Big Men on Campus. Have a great day. Thanks for everyone participating. Bye-bye.